Morning, guys.
He's not in a coma. They don't know what to call it.
You know, Cyrus, co-host and I, we often go see movies together.
So I hear.
Yeah, no, it's very romantic.
It
very
was
lovely.
a date.
Oh, we have several.
It's not like, well, you already ruined that, but it's not like a couple thing. I try to let people know that from the get-go. But
It's just the way one film critic can have sex with another film critic, and it doesn't mean anything.
The only reason we don't hold hands is because he doesn't have any.
That's right. That's how I like to keep
Doesn't
it.
keep me from putting my arm around him, Copperfield every now and then. But I tell you,
have
man,
no choice.
Using him as a suppository.
yes, whenever I can.
That is fucking disgusting, by the way.
Well, you know what, man? What my point is that we come out a lot sharing the same opinion.
Coming out right now.
Yeah. And see, here's the deal. You know, I like it when occasionally you and I don't have the same opinion. You know, I like when we can have the position of you being the bad guy, I'm the good guy. You know, I like the position of
You like that position?
Yeah, I like
Oh.
the position of you being wrong, I being right.
Okay.
Lots of positions.
Yeah,
you
usually
know.
because I usually think about it the other way around.
Really?
where
Yeah.
I'm always right. You're the one over there looking like the dummy.
See?
And I'm sitting back here laughing and waiting for all those comments to come in and going, co-host, you're absolutely right. Corey, who's that guy anyway?
As the voice of the peanut gallery, we just like it when y'all disagreed.
Yeah, you
Not
do.
who's right and who's wrong.
And you think I care about what these fools say? You're all fools.
Yes, I do. You're the only one I see in the comments going, hey,
That's called engaging.
how could you?
That's a business tactic right there.
Oh,
That's
is that-
keeping people interested. You know, I'll go in there and comment to make people comment, keep them coming back.
You keep telling yourself that. That's great. Yeah.
I might have to do that here.
As long as
If
that
these
works
people
for
come
you.
in and start telling me how much they like this shit, like you telling me that you like it
Oh,
right now.
yes. And I'm sorry, my brother, but I like this movie. I loved it.
Damn it, boy, you know, right when I start having faith in you, you let me down, brother. You break my heart.
Yeah,
What?
That is why you
came out
fail.
Corey going, man, I hate that movie. You were so mad.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah, I remember hearing you. Okay, because the thing is, I remember you saying that you hated a movie, and for the life of me, I was trying to remember. After I saw this, I was like, "Is this the movie that Corey said he really hated?" Because I was like, "Nah, this can't be. There's
This
no
is
way.
the movie.
This is the movie. Wow. Okay.
We are having an incident like we had back in what, maybe was it 2008, 2009?
Oh, my
We are not
God.
going to have another epic argument like this since we had it with Predator versus Alien Requiem.
That's which is still an awesome movie when you fast forward. I stick to my guns.
Who lost that argument?
Corey.
I don't know. You ask the masses. But you know something? I would agree that fast forwarding through this movie wouldn't be a bad thing, except for
Really?
the first half. I think it should be the second half because I was very frustrated with this film, not because I just came out completely hating it.
Yeah.
It's because I thought they actually set up a very classic haunted house, or in this case, a haunted kid movie.
Well, yeah,
Very
I mean,
well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I know the trailers kind of already spoiled that, but I kind of wish they didn't. Only because, yeah, you are. I mean, when you're being taken through this whole movie, they do give you the impression it is very much a haunted house movie, and it works on every level, almost better than Paranormal Activity. As much as I like that movie, that first one, it works a little bit better, as far as just a movie. Like if Hollywood were to take the idea of paranormal and turn it into just your typical Hollywood movie, I'm actually surprised that they did a better job doing it with this film.
Oh, so you say.
So no, and I do say that.
No,
yes.
you know what? And I'm just messing around with it. I respect where you're coming from because
better.
a lot of people seem you. Now, see, that's why I can't be nice to you.
Respect. Learn how to spell it.
Little shit attitude of yours now. Come on, I'm trying to be nice.
All I saw was the trailer, and it didn't make it look like Paranormal Activity at all. In fact, they even show like the demon or whatever, and I was like, is that supposed to be Darth Insidious?
No, I know.
It looked like Darth Maul.
And that's
Yeah,
another thing
see.
too. Yeah, you can't. I mean, yeah, just seeing that trailer, you can't help but that's all you're thinking about. Wait, but I'm thinking about this is the rise of Darth Insidious.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but but that's just the problem of the marketing. I kind of wish they would have marketed this film a little bit better because I honestly went in knowing nothing about the film. I barely saw a trailer for it, which maybe I think helped me like it a little bit more than Corey did. Apparently,
So was it better than Saw?
Oh, well,
you know what? Yes,
Well, that's
yes,
the thing here.
yes.
Is that I think that's where you should give the movie credit is that it's James Wan. the guy who everybody almost associate him with, like, maybe not inventing torture porn or the term torture porn, but he sure enough came in and propagated it well.
He invented Saw and the puppet from Saw.
Yeah, he's the original creator of the original Saw.
Yeah.
The one that blew up at Sundance when it first showed. I mean, he's the one that started the whole series. So, say what you will about Saw. Successful franchise. It is like that Halloween movie that people have been wanting for the most part. I mean, it's the thing about it is that it's so gory and over the top that's where a lot of people have criticism with it.
Well, I think due to the sequels that came after, it's one of those things where the idea he had, even though I didn't think it was all that fresh. I mean, I always say Saw is just nothing more than a ripoff of Seven, but taken into more of a slasher territory. I mean, I respect that. I respect what he did. What I hated about that series is what other people turned it into. But I mean, I do give the guy credit for creating that entire world.
Well, you got to give him credit now for trying to do something different. He's pulled way back on the whole thing of torture porn or extreme gore, whatever it is you want to call it. And he's tried to go back and, as I mentioned before, make more of a classic scare film, one that's sort of devoid of blood but more of disturbing or scary images. And also like playing with sound, shadow, light.
Jump scares.
And see, we were talking about this before in jump scares, which could work in a minute. Yeah, see, don't do that. Don't do that. Black people scared of ghosts. That's why we never seen one, because we don't stick around. Because the noise is enough to scare us.
I keep telling Corey, that's not ghosts, that's KKK, dude. They come here to take
We're
you
more
away.
scared of cats than we are of ghosts.
But it's
But
always a cat at first anyway. So.
Right.
I know.
But you know what?
Cat always see the black person run like, what I do? Come on, man, I'm hungry.
But I have to say that this movie honestly did not have those cheap jump scares. At least I didn't notice a single one, and I was honestly kind of looking for it to happen. And when you do assume that you're going to get that, you don't. And I have to give the movie credit for at least not doing that.
Well, let's tell people what the movie's about.
Tell them.
Here.
What is it about?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. What is it? I can't find it.
How do I make solitaire turn off on my computer?
Corey's hatred for the movie just made him completely forget about the synopsis.
It's been like 2 weeks since
What
I
was
saw
that movie
it.
about? No, the movie. I'm trying to remember that Rose Byrne and Patrick Wilson.
Yes.
They play. A couple.
They're a couple. Yeah, they have
nice
a family.
Couple, fairly young
Yeah.
couple. Yeah, they got a kid. How many kids?
They have 3 kids.
Yeah,
they
3
have
kids.
2 boys, 2 young boys, and a baby.
And a baby. Baby what?
A baby, I think
matter. Babies all look the same,
yeah,
right?
baby girl, whatever. Yeah,
Awesome.
baby hermaphrodite. I don't know.
You say baby hermaphrodite? Both the PP and the JJ.
That's right.
So-
But that's another movie.
Yeah, but they're very cute, fairly young couple, very nice. I mean, it's the kind of thing where they're so normal and so cute and looking so well together and so stable. Something's got to be wrong. The father got to be a killer, mother got to be a hoe. One of these kids got to be a demon or
Yeah,
something.
something
And that's what you come down. There's a ghost following them. Nothing can ever be perfect for the nice average white couple out there. And so in this case, they are suspecting their home of being hunted.
Right.
However, when they move away from one place, they discover that they are still being followed by these spirits. And then they further notice that our spirits has focused on one of their children to the point where when the kid goes into a coma, they can't figure out if he's possessed or if he's being pulled into some other demonic world that they will never be able to retrieve him from.
Which
Hi to Carol Ann.
yeah, exactly. Which is funny. The doctors can't figure it out, so it's giving them no option but to just try to figure out this whole puzzle. Which means that's when you start getting into the more paranormal stuff, which basically is pushed further only because the mother starts to noticing weird and odd things. She starts seeing people around the house in both houses, and she's trying her best to convince her husband, who is not believing any of this bullshit, that look, there is something really fucked up going on, not only in that last house but in this house too, and we need to do something about it. I mean,
So just people appearing in her house?
random
And they're not
random
Mexican,
events. Yeah,
so it's
no, it's not. You see people walking outside and you think, oh, that's the guy who came over to cut the grass, but no, it is not. It's not at all.
It's not Cousin George.
I was like, that guy didn't bring his lawnmower, so there's a problem.
So, and the movie kind of is very reminiscent of Poltergeist.
Oh, it is.
because
It's wearing it on its sleeves.
Yeah,
it really is.
I don't know what it is about ghosts. I don't know if they're just good with children or if ghosts are pedophiles or or what, but they like to pull them
innocent.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. They kids can't watch TV without ghosts fucking with them. They can't go to sleep.
I smell your Cheerios.
Can't watch the internet without being fixed. Oh, that's porn, actually.
All the Rubenstein making the kids eat Lucky Charms. Sweet potato.
So this ghost is fucking with this kid, and that's when you get some like really weird imagery, man. And it's like you walk into a room and they like Rose Byrne's describing some scenes like, I saw some scary things, and I like how it's like how white people just like I saw some really odd things, because me, I'm looking at this, it's like that's where the movie works. She's describing one scene where she walked into her kid's room, and you see in her, as she describes, it's the visual. It's dark, and in the corner there's this shadow. Kind of looks like a big transvestite with ghetto nails. But it's scary when it's all in shadow. And you look at that and you think, wow, not only is that scary because of that image, but it's just lurking above this kid.
Yeah, and that's the really cool thing about that movie, because it starts from the get go. As soon as the movie starts, you see these images of faces and things that they're done in such a way that it's not CG or anything. They're just done in a practical way to where they honestly work. That's the best thing. I'm going to say that throughout the entire review. That is the best thing that works for this movie the most. It's when it is, yeah. And just right when you think, okay, well, they can't take that any further, they actually do. And it works on all levels. Just as far as not like throwing it in your face, but being very, very subtle about it. It's almost like, I was telling you guys, it's like you always heard that story about that image of that kid supposedly who died in that apartment where they shot 3 Men and a Baby, where the camera swings by, you see an image, and then it swings back again, and that image is not there. When you really think about that, you let that play with your mind a bit, it really does something to you where it's just like, man, that is, I don't know what that is,
No, it did something
but
to me
it's
when I
fucking
saw it,
creepy.
too. No,
Yeah,
when I looked
it is
at it,
creepy.
I said, that's bullshit. That's what it did to me.
That was like one of those things, like the weirdest place for a ghost to haunt. It's like a crypt keeper going, let me tell you a story of 3 men and a baby.
Yeah, and I thought I hope that ghost kid is getting like his $50 a day for being an extra in this movie. That kid just wanted to be in a film that bad.
Yeah. Well, regardless if you believe that or not, just the imagery and the things that you can do with that imagery, playing with your head, going, that's bullshit. It's probably some guy who fucking was in this shot and he pulled a fucking curly and got behind the curtains, but it's still kind of creepy. And this movie does that a lot. And they do it in such a way that it really, just being in the audience with those scenes playing, the audience, I've never been in an audience that reacted this way since the Blair Witch Project. And it was really cool because I was feeling the same for the first time in a really long time, when you're in an audience where people are screaming and yelling, you're like, that's cool that the audience is into this, but I'm not. This is the first time where I really felt like I was with them for this ride watching this.
I would love to hear co-host shriek like a little girl, personally. I'm
what?
Sad I did not go.
The thing is, the guy behind me was stealing all my thunder, only because he was fucking. This guy behind me was screaming. First, he was like, "Yeah, whatever, man." I'm like, really? And I was just like, wow, this is like really like doing something. And he wasn't the only one. There's people in the audience like literally screaming. Screaming for no real. You thought, are they trying to be funny? But the scenes that they were showing in this movie had an effect on me to where I was like, okay, wow, I can see somebody else who is looking for this. They're gonna get it. They really are. They're gonna get their money's worth as far as these kind of scares that really haven't been done by Hollywood standards of doing it right. Haven't been done in the longest time since a Blair Witch, I think.
Now, you are passionate about this.
And I only say now, he's saying that though. The movie does have its problems, and I'm sure Corey's going to fill you in on what.
Because now people
other
are like,
side.
now people are kind of like, well, it sounds like you two are getting along beautifully. You're agreeing on these points.
Yeah,
we have finally resolved the Gaza Strip here. It's like, we brought peace to the Middle East. We're like, no. So what was the argument? What's the big deal?
Your rebuttal.
Well, let me tell you what happened. Maybe it's an audience thing. I will give you that, because when I was sitting up there, everybody had a look on their face like, okay, whatever. It's a movie. Some people might have been liking it, some people might not, but nobody.
Where did you see it?
I saw it at the Alamo.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the deal. The movie takes drastic turn. 180 degrees. If you know your math.
Yes.
It's,
I've been studying that.
all the way around. That's the opposite of the way you just came from.
Okay.
And so
It goes backwards to the rest of the movie, like Castlevania.
it should. Because I tell you something, man. Gave me some backwards ass scares, or what they thought were scares, because what they were doing so good before just got so horribly bad to me. And I'll tell you why. They bring in these paranormal investigators. What did you call them? Simon?
Parapsychologists.
Parapsychologists.
That's the official term.
Bringing in these big words right here. I like that.
In the 70s, they actually had colleges that offered classes in that. They were paying for motherfucking parapsychologists to have jobs. Not so much anymore.
No, not.
I thought that was just another term for a really smart geek who doesn't want to go get a real job.
Yeah, exactly. He was just scamming people.
Remember in the beginning of Ghostbusters when they all get fired from the university they're working
Exactly.
from? Because they were the last ones.
Parapsychologists. That's too many words. I like to take some of those words out and just call it a con man.
Yeah, right.
But in this movie, you have three of them who come in. One is it's this woman who brings in her these two guys who are a technical crew. The woman's played here by Lynn Shay, old time actress. You know,
She's been
around
in
a long
plenty
time.
of horror films. Yeah.
Loved her work in Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. If you remember that movie.
No, I don't.
I'm not sure if you're ready to hear this yet, but unfortunately, I can't waste any time easing you into it. I want you to know this is what I believe, and it may contradict a previous medical diagnosis, but you called me here, and I'm taking that as an acceptance of my readings. Yes?
Go on.
Your son isn't in a coma. Falling off a ladder had nothing to do with this. His physical body is here, but his spiritual body is not. And the reason these disturbances, they followed you to a new home, is because it's not the house that's haunted. It's your son.
Lee Wanell and Angus Sampson. They all come in, and this is where the movie not only begins to kind of take the mystery away, because they're explaining everything that was kind of cool before, where it was mysterious and frightening. They come in and start talking about this realm called the Further, and how this kid is trapped there.
Which I'm like, just call it the other side. I mean, Poltergeist
Further,
got
yeah,
away with that. It's like, King Willie from Predator 2 called it the other side. The spirit world, man.
Okay, we get it. There's supposed to be another side.
Yes.
But now you're just making shit
This is
up.
where James Wan is just like, okay, I need to make this into my own. It's
Further
like,
trademark.
stop.
further away from being a good movie is what happened. Because where James Wan was doing well with being very minimal before, he gets way minimal in the second part. Because listen, I know when they want to do a classic scare movie by saying we don't want to show too much, we don't want to bring in a bunch of like CG heavy special effects, but when you go the opposite end and your terms of being classic is going down to the costume shop or the Halloween store, getting some white makeup and a fog machine and a red light bulb, that says just poor to me. I mean, it doesn't scare me at all. At this point, we get things like, first of all, that shadowy thing that was revealed in the room. You're right. It's Darth Maul on hormones. I mean, big. I think you even see titties on him if you look real.
Yeah, no, it's as if Darth Maul and Freddy Krueger did a Brokeback Elm Street. This would be the love creation, because I mean, there's a moment where you see this creature and you can't help. At least for me, all I thought was like, okay, wow, this is like their version of Freddy Krueger, and at that point in the movie, you're like, okay, I hope this really doesn't go in a way that it'll cheapen it. But I think that they pulled back enough for me when I was watching it that it really didn't ruin the film for me. Because I thought at that point, I was like, okay, this is where the film could completely and utterly fall apart.
Well, and see, that's where it fell apart for me, because it's makeup, all right? Motherfucker put on black and red makeup,
But I have to say, there's a really effective scene when they introduce this character that just like had me jumping, like going, oh fuck, where you just don't expect it at all.
Presumably that's the difference. The Further, TM, and the other side is that the Further is someplace with a bunch of Darth malls and or whatever it is, creatures that are not really ghosts, demons, what have you, which is what that thing is supposed to be. Because why would a ghost look like that?
Right.
I mean, unless he died at a Halloween party.
Yeah, which you know,
and they actually put the makeup on his face. They wrote balls on his forehead.
Yeah, we need to figure out what year this man died. I don't know when the Phantom Menace come out.
but the thing is like,
Imagine like waking up in the spirit world with like fucking Darth Maul makeup on. You got whipped cream in your hand.
It's like, there's
Somebody put your hand in water.
a picture of a dick drawn on his cheek.
Yeah.
Towards his mouth.
honestly,
For eternity.
honestly, there's a scene where you see him walk out, and you're honestly waiting for Tenacious D to come out of the shadows and start singing a song about it. But you know, the thing is, when I know you didn't like the part with the paranormal, but I thought that's when they brought in kind of like that was their version of like they're playing up the comedy of that. I think they knew everyone was like, okay, here's the part where we're going to remind you of Poltergeist, and we're going to bring in these two characters who pretty much, you know, the comic relief of the film, where, you know, they show you like their devices that they've constructed, which one of them was a viewfinder that they modified to look for ghosts. So I think they're not trying to tell the audience like, okay, here we're going to bring in some paranormal guys who are really serious. No, I thought that was more comic relief, and I actually thought it worked because I actually liked those characters. I really did. I dug them.
I found them annoying. They had terrible lines. Near the end of the movie, they had like really bad exchange of dialogue. Yeah, when they're putting all their equipment back in the truck, and it's like they're trying to be funny, and it's like, okay, even these are supposed to be comedy.
That was the only moment that I didn't think worked.
Awful.
Yeah.
But in before, just kind of like you bringing in comedy when this movie had so much tension. You're taking away the tension.
Well, the movie kind of needed that. The movie did need it because
I mean, it scares me. You know what? Let me tell you why it got so bad here. Because the further is this realm where, all right, it's almost like James Wan might want to be so minimalist and classic with this that he wants to even go back to something like 70s films, because I could see a little bit of even The Exorcist in this and things like that, even with the makeup effects. But they're going through. Patrick Wilson has to delve into the realm, and he has to face all these these memories or characters, and what it is the camera's like with sort of a fisheye lens effect. Sometimes it's going in the face of all these supposed spirits who are standing around reenacting scenes from a past, and they're all wearing white makeup. They're obviously on a set that's been blacked out, so it looks like a cheap stage. There's, like I said, the fog machine is going on. They walk into a hallway where it's the cheap red light. This could have been cool if I was locked into a carriage on wheels and being put through a cheap fun house.
Right. It sounds like that, or like those cutscenes in Max Payne. You know, was he running along a trail of blood that led?
No, not so much.
That would have been too much.
I mean,
that would have been too good.
Yeah, honestly, there were. I mean, I actually like those scenes where you just see him in this nothingness, just holding a lantern, because I was like, wow, you know what? It's one of those things where. That was scarier watching him go through that nothingness and then seeing going through the house with just nothing really there. But yeah, you're right. When they do come up upon these ghosts, that was the part that kind of that really cheapens it. Even though I like the effect of what they were doing to get there, I didn't like so much the fact that he was seeing these ghosts from other past, maybe a history of that house to where bad things had happened, where it did seem like really cheap. I mean,
I'm not joking when I say this. I feel like I was going through not even a good haunted house. You know, those that people put on for Halloween.
Yeah,
I bet you. Now, when I was growing up,
as opposed to for Easter.
Yeah,
Oh, Christmas.
You never been to the haunted Easter bunny ride?
You never.
Wasn't scary enough for you.
Yeah.
That was pretty frightening.
See,
you've never been to Walmart's House of Scares when they turn out the lights and just let you roam around and look at all the customers with a flashlight. Yeah, that's what it looked like.
No, that's what when I was growing up, like our church would put on like a haunted house things down the basement of the church, and they would be so cheesy, so bad.
Sure, bunch of guys wearing sheets.
Yeah, bunch of guys wearing sheets, bunch of guys wearing white makeup.
Your church had a basement?
Yeah,
oh,
church
shit.
had a and I'm not even joking here. That what I saw in this movie reminded me of going through a very cheap, almost church charity or elementary school haunted house.
Wow.
It felt like I was watching bad actors on a cheap set. And nothing was scary about it. Had I been walking through this, as a real haunted house.
Yeah.
I would have been like, there is nothing frightening about this at all. And whatever time and money I spent on this is completely wasted. I thought that the end of this looked terrible. Thought the makeup effects were terrible. Thought it was completely, and I use this word when something really is this stupid.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that what he's talking about is the last reel of the film. Where that's the part that didn't work so much for me, even though there were moments in there that I thought that really did work, where I'm like, man, if they just kind of like really stopped, looked at the film, saw what a great first half that the film was, if they could have used that more to be, I guess, more creative with going to the other side, because it's like, how are you going to figure that out? It's kind of been done, then that's the thing with this movie, it all has been done. We've seen this before. It's wearing Poltergeist on its sleeve, but at the same time, with the you could tell that this movie did have a budget. But I thought for what they had with it, they actually did some good, because there are some genuinely scary moments where he's going through the lantern, especially Patrick Wilson, where you see him in the house, and then when you see this demon, to where the demon at first looked like, oh wow, they're really pulling a Freddy Krueger right now, but there was a scene where they show that character again, and he does something that's really effective in the movie that really is just a creepy moment that I was like, wow, okay, now they're hitting the notes again. And that's the thing, like with that last reel, there's times when the movie hit and other times when it just fell flat and cheap. But overall, the experience, it still didn't weigh me down to where I was walking out like going, okay, that was just utter shit.
If I had to have been bored right before and it's almost like there's a lull right before the paranormal guys come in and
LOL paranormal
LOL. I wish.
Give me my cheeseburger.
LOL less, because there's nothing funny about them. But they, if they had not just been a little bit of a drag there, I probably would have said it's the last reel. But it did start to get slow for me. I'm starting to become tired, and I was like, all right, well, these guys are coming in. They're gonna give it a little bit of a boost, and that's where the movie just went completely wrong. I hate it so much because I think James Wan did such a good job, and and the other influence on it could be that the Paranormal Activity guys are the ones that are the producers on this too. So.
No, the beginning of this very much felt like Paranormal Activity,
except without a static shot.
Right.
For them, I mean, we talk about how they pulled back on a budget here for what the Paranormal Activity guys did. That was, this is a lot of money. This might as well be some Michael Bay shit. If you spend $5 more than what they did, that's a lot of money. So they, the money, this is probably more money than they have been working with or used to working with. But I don't think it was put to good effect here. Admired for what the movie what it tried to do. Admired the first half. Thought it was very effective. Just hated so much because I thought that they actually set it up so well.
See,
and then just ruined it by giving me a really terrible second half. I mean, this movie's bullshit to me. Some old bullshit.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I know. I have to completely disagree on that. Only because, like I said,
you know what? Let me go back and say this.
No.
You know what? You got me thinking. I try to be fair here. Everybody knows. Everybody says cool.
Don't be fair. Tell me what you think.
No. I'm telling you what I think. Otherwise, I wouldn't change it.
Okay.
Because I like to be fair here. I'm thinking about how well they did the first half, and I got to give credit for that. I got to give credit for at least being somewhat creeped out. And I don't want to be just total meanie here.
Asshole.
I want to be a total asshole here. So I will give this a low rental.
Okay, well, I still have to just completely disagree. As much as I was thinking, wow, this could easily turn into just another run-of-the-mill haunted house, like we've seen with like those fucking terrible movies, Haunted by so-and-so, anything Haunting in Connecticut, which, wow, you look at that film and you look at this film, and it's night and day as far as like what they could have done to make an effective haunted house movie. Because I will say this is a very much effective haunted house movie, and the only time it falls apart is the last reel. But I cannot take away what the film did, which it actually, conventional scares in cinema these days, it's so, I mean, your grandmother can predict what's going on these days with these types of films. With this one, it really caught me off guard. I thought it caught the audience off guard to the point where they got some genuine scares out of me, and they just did it in clever ways, clever practical ways, and I have to salute the film for doing that. At least, James Wan, when I saw his name, I'm like, it's that guy who's done those films or whatever. But he really did go out of his way to make something genuinely scary, and I thought he did a great job with this. I'm almost it's one of those things where I do see the problems with it. I almost want to give it a full price. Only because I haven't had an experience like this, just being genuinely scared in a long time. But I mean, it does the problems that it has, with the ones that Corey talked about, they are there. and it kind of knocks it down a notch. So I'm going to give it a matinee.
Just a straight matinee.
Matinee only because, I mean, you have seen it. You kind of seen it all before. I just like how he took everything that you've seen before and he kind of did make it fresh.
Well, it sounds like the first half of it is like traditional haunted house, and that it's building up the scares. It's really frightening. You don't know what's happening, but then they just give away too much. They actually start showing you everything.
That's
and then
right.
It's not scary.
That's right.
They get the old Indian guy to lead them to the astral projection world to the other side, where a Cenobite shows up and goes, "Oh, Josh Lucas, we have such sights to show."
Yeah.
you."
It's you hit it right on the head there by saying that, you know, it is the point where they show you the boogeyman and you get a good look at him and you're just like, I liked it better when he's kind of in the shadows.
It was scarier when it was in Star Wars Episode 1. I was more frightened by that. In fact, I would like to see that ghost hunt Darth Maul. And they just look at each other like, hey, what the fuck?
I think we all had the nightmare before we saw the Phantom Menace that it would be terrible. So yeah, that was a scary.
No,
You want to know what Insidious is? Go see the prequels. You know, you've seen this already. You know, and look, you know, you want to scare me? Just they're hunting these kids so much younger. You know, just I want to see the haunted womb of the haunted vagina. You know?
I figure if I wanted to scare you, I'd just tell you go do your taxes. But you know, that's the only way you're gonna get a real scare these days.
I went into Dalton's room. There was something in there with him. I know someone who can help.
We took tri-field and EMF readings of the whole house, wiring, alarm clocks.
I don't think bad wiring is the problem here.
I want to leave. I want to leave this house.
What is it?